Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of the Arabic Qahwa podcast. We are very excited today because we have our Sheikh joining us again after many episodes. We have been waiting patiently for him. And Sheikh Abdurrahman is finally back. Ahlan wa sahlan, ya Sheikh Abdurrahman. We are so happy to have you back.
Hayyakallah, and thank you so much for having me back. It's always a pleasure.
Ahlan wa sahlan. And today we are going to have another poetry session. And we are going to talk about perhaps the most famous story of love in the history of Arabic poetry. But it is a very tragic story. And it is the story of Majnun Layla. Majnun Layla literally translates to the madman or the crazy person of Layla. This is because Qays ibn Mulawwah, that is his name, Majnun Layla. Qays ibn Mulawwah, he actually lost his mind because he could not marry his love Layla. It is a very tragic, very sad and moving story. So let's listen to the story. And also Sheikh Abdurrahman, he has picked some very beautiful, eloquent and moving poetry of Majnun Layla for us. So stick around till the very end to listen to all those beautiful lines. So Qays ibn Mulawwah, he was a very affluent person. He was from a rich family. His father was a wealthy merchant. He was from a great Qabila. He was handsome. He was eloquent. He was a great poet. He had everything until he fell madly in love with Layla, who was a girl from his own tribe. Now, the reason he could not marry Layla is really crazy. I can't get my head around this, Sheikh Abdurrahman. You know, it's really shocking. When you think about it, the only reason Qays could not marry Layla was because he fell, crazily in love with her. Doesn't make sense. Because the Arabs had this custom that if someone were to fall so much in love with a girl and he would say poetry and this matter would go public, they would not marry him to her. And this is something that does not make any sense at all. And this is what turned the life of Qays ibn Mulawwah into a tragedy. And we have heard many stories, many love stories where people gave their lives in the name of love. Wars were waged in the name of love. A lot of things have happened, but this is a unique story where Qays lost his intellect because of his love. He actually lost his mind because of his love for Layla. He wanted to marry Layla and he went with so much mahr. He went with a lot of fine camels to her father. But and all the people of the Qabila, his father, everyone went to the father of Layla, imploring him, even begging him to save the life of Qays by just marrying Layla to him. But he just refused and he forced Layla to marry someone else because Layla loved him back just like Qays loved Layla. But her father refused. And Qays lost his mind and he couldn't take it. And the people, they advised his father to take Qays to Hajj and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because all of this is happening in the time of Islam. This is in the Umayyad period. So his father, he took him to Hajj. And on the way to Hajj, Qays heard someone shout out the name of Layla. It was not his Layla, but the person was calling his wife or his relative. And when he heard the name Layla, he lost his mind again. He screamed and he lost consciousness, subhanallah. And after that, when they went near the Kaaba, his father told him to hold on to the curtains of the Kaaba and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make him forget Layla. And what Qays did was that he held on to the curtains of the Kaaba and he said, Allahumma zidni li Layla hubba. Oh Allah, increase me in my love for Layla. And it is said that is when he lost his mind completely. And it's really appalling, the case of Majnun Layla, because he was not a normal madman. Because it is said that he would tear off his clothes, he would tear off his thawb, he would, play with the sand, he would collect bones, just like a madman you would see out on the street. But this is the thing: if you go to him and you say the name Layla, if you talk to him about Layla, he would return to his perfectly sane state, and he would talk perfectly, and he would say poetry, subhanallah. And not only that, the poetry of Majnun Layla, it is ranked among the best, among you can put it right besides the greatest poets of his time, and you can see the beauty and the power of the lines. Inshallah, Sheikh Abdul Rahman is going to share some of these lines with us. So this is truly incredible. Someone who lost his mind, but when you talk about Layla, he will give you the most beautiful lines of poetry you have ever heard. And all of his poetry is about his pain and about the state he is in because he could not marry Layla. And subhanallah, it's really incredible. And I don't want to keep you waiting anymore, so I want to turn it over to Sheikh Abdul Rahman, and he is going to show us some of the beautiful lines of Majnun Layla.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Since you have beautifully provided the background of Layla and Majnun and about his poetry, so I'll just jump straight away to the poem that I selected. And the first one is from his Mu'nisa.
Okay.
That start with the line تذكرت ليلى والسنين الخوالية وأيام لا نخشى على اللهو ناهية. And he went on to say قضاها لغيري وابتلاني بحبها فهلا بشيء غير ليلى ابتلاني. ترى الدهر والأيام تفنى وتنقضي وحبك لا يزداد إلا تماديا. أصلي فما أدري إذا ما ذكرتها ثنتين صليت الضحى أم ثمانية. فإن منعوا ليلى وحسن حديثها فلم تمنعوا عني البكا والقوافية. So he started with recalling the memories of his childhood that he spent with Layla. When he and Layla was together and there was no one to prevent them from playing together. Because when they were children, they were together and they were childhood friends. So he was recalling those good old days. And then he went on to complain about his situation and about his suffering. Say, قضاها لغيري وابتلاني بحبها فهلا بشيء غير ليلى ابتلانية. See, the fate had it that Layla belongs to another man. She's married to another husband other than me.
Okay.
But وابتلاني بحبها. Whereas I'm madly in love with her. I fell in love with her. So this is a very hard situation. It's a very difficult situation where you can't live with the one you love. You've been separated with the one you love. So this is a very difficult predicament. That he said, فَهَلَّا بِشَيْءٍ غَيْرَ لَيْلَ ابْتَلَانِيَا. I wished that all the problems, all the calamities in the world would befall me, but not this one. Like I can bear all the problems in the world except this one. This is unbearable. And then he say, أرى الدهر والأيام تفنى وتنقضي وحبك لا يزداد إلا تماديا. Say, I see that everything in this world, all the days have an end. So everything in this world will fade after some times. But my love for Layla will increase in its intensity every day. So after the passing of every day, my love for her will increase in its intensity.
Subhanallah.
So it doesn't fade with the passage of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went on to express the extent of this love. He said, أصلي فما أدري إذا ما ذكرتها ثنتين صليت الضحى أم ثمانية. He said, I start praying, but whenever I remember her in my prayer, I will lose focus and I will lose count of how many rak'ahs I have prayed so far. So I wouldn't be able to tell whether I've prayed 2 rak'ahs or 8 rak'ahs. So this is how he was madly in love with her, and how this love was enrapturing him, and he can't get away from it. And it was beyond his control, because if he went to start praying, so he's supposed to devote all his focus, all his attention to the prayer.
Yeah.
And he can't do that. But he can't do that as long he doesn't remember Layla. So whenever he remembers Layla, he will lose his focus and he will become...
He can't even remember how many rak'ah he prayed.
Yes.
Subhanallah.
And then he say to the people who denied him Layla, say, فَإِن تَمْنَعُوا لَيْلَى وَحُسْنَ حَدِيثِهَا فَلَمْ تَمْنَعُوا عَنِّ الْبُكَى وَالْقَوَافِيَ. So you can deny me the sweet conversation of Layla.
Mm-hmm.
You can prevent me from talking to her, from listening to her. حُسْنَ حَدِيثِهَا. Her sweet conversations. It's been said that Layla was well versed in literature, in poetry and history. That what made her conversation very refined and very interesting, and that one of the reasons that attracted Qays to her. And he said, you can deny me this sweet conversation, but فَلَمْ تَمْنَعُوا عَنِّ الْبُكَى وَالْقَوَافِيَ. But you cannot deny me the power of uttering poetry, of composing poetry and expressing my love of her and expressing my pain in my poetry. So he used this poetry as a consolation to console himself.
Okay, let me just stop you there for our viewers. The last line, if you could just explain. Al-buka is to cry, right?
Yes.
Al-buka.
Al-qawafi.
Okay.
Wal-qawafiya.
What is
Al-qawafi mean the lines of poetry.
Qawafiya.
Usually al-qafiya is the last word in the line.
Okay. So it's a plural of qafiya.
Qafiya, yes.
Okay, beautiful.
And one of the interesting thing about Majnun is that all his poetry was devoted to Layla. So all the poetry he said, it's about his love of Layla.
Subhanallah.
That's why he said in another poem, إِذَا مَا قَرَضْتُ الشِّعْرَ فِي غَيْرِ ذِكْرِهَا أَبَا وَأَبِيكُمْ أَنْ يُطَاوِعَ عَنِّي شِعْرِي. If I try to say poetry on any other topic, on anything else other than Layla and her love, I wouldn't be able to do so, and all my senses would refuse to help me do so. So I would be helpless in doing so.
Yeah, this is
one of the interesting thing about.
That's incredible, Usman. And like if you read the entire collection of the poetry of Majnun Layla, it's in fact all about Layla, except maybe 4 lines, which he said at the grave of his father when he died. So, subhanallah, that's truly incredible. Like maybe he's the only poet we can find where all his poetry is about one particular woman. All the other poets, they used to talk about different topics. Like even Antara, a lot of his poetry is about Abla, but you'll find other things as well. But this is something very unique about Majnun.
Yes, I think it's unique about Majnun and the people in his category, like Jamil Buthaina
Okay.
and Ibn Sim al-Qushayri, the Al-Udhriyin, as they call them. It's one of this specific thing about them.
Okay. What is Al-Udhriyin?
Al-Udhriyin, it's a group of poets whose poem are usually, it's called virgin. Yani it's so
Okay.
pure
Okay.
that it's not about physical, and they wouldn't go so much into describing her physical characters or
It is pure, yani.
the dalliances or anything. It's just more about their soul and about their true love.
MashaAllah.
So now you've mentioned before that this is a tragedy and it is a tragic story. So someone has to be responsible for this tragedy. And usually, you know the poet, I mean, you cannot mess up with them. If you try to do so, they would say poetry about you and they would criticize you. And all the world will know about what you did, and you will be disgraced for it.
Yeah.
So now we'll try to find that
many centuries
villain
to come.
person in this story. Yeah. So who's the villain in this story, and who's responsible? Who's to blame?
Okay.
So let's see now. Is it Layla? Is it her father? Is it her tribe? Is it Majnun's fathers, or who's to blame?
Who does he blame?
So is it Layla? No, because Layla for him is an angel. She can do no wrong. She's beyond that. And this he mentioned this in his poetry, and where he said, "Afallahu an Layla wa in safakat dami, wa inni wa illam tujzini ghayra a'ibin عليها ولا مبت لليلى شكايتي وقد يشكو المشكى إلى كل صاحبي." He said, may Allah forgive Layla, even if she spills my blood, even if she kills me, may Allah forgive her, and may He not consider this as a sin. وإن سفكت دمي وإني وإن لم تجزني غير عائد عليها. And even though if she doesn't reciprocate the love I have for her, if she doesn't return back the love I have for her, I would not blame her. ولا مبدٍ لليلى شكاية. And I will not complain to her in order to get her sympathy. Or rather, I will leave her alone. I would not try to bother her. That's how much he loved her. So he can't complain about anything she did. Whatever she does, it's right. She can do no wrong. What about her father? He applied the same logic about her father also, about all her tribe.
But
because
her father forced her to marry someone else. He's
yes,
the one
exactly.
who caused all the problems.
Even that, because he's her father, so he can do no wrong also.
He does not blame him in all of his poetry.
He does not blame her. He does not blame him.
Subhanallah.
So who to blame now? So he directed this anger to the Ushat, or the Washi. The Washi is a character that all the poets who are in love, who the lovers who complained about him. It is the informant.
Okay.
Is it the denouncer, the one who goes around and spying on the lovers and on the poet and denouncing them to the family of the girl or to the society and spreading rumors. So to him, this is the villain, and he's the responsible for all this tragedy, for all his problems. And in one of the lines, he was complaining how these wushat, they were so professional and they were so good on the evil they do that he said, فَلَوْ كَانَ وَاشٍ بِالْيَمَامَةِ دَارُهُ وَدَارِي بِأَعْلَى حَضْرَمَوْتَ اهْتَدَالِيًا. If this washi, if his house was in Yamama, it's a place in Saudi Arabia now, while my house is in Hadramaut, it's very in Yemen, like between two different countries. Say this washi would know about my place. Even if I'm trying to hide there and do something, he will know about it and he will go and denounce me. So this was how much trouble this washi was causing him. He said, وَمَاذَا لَهُمْ لَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ حِفْظَهُم مِنَ الْحَظِّ فِي تَصْرِيمِ لَيْلَى حِبَالِيَا. And what will this washi get out of this? And what will he benefit when Layla cut me off, when he cut our relationship? What will this washi will get? He'll get nothing. So that's why he cursed this washi and asked Allah to deprive him from his protection and to leave him alone to be sunk. So this is the washi. And this were the person that he directed his anger toward, but not to Layla or her father. Despite her father is the one who married her after another man other than Qays.
Subhanallah. So out of his extreme love for Layla, he does not blame her despite all his pain, and he does not even blame her father because he is related to Layla. But he finds someone else to blame.
Exactly.
Subhanallah.
And I'll just end with another lines where some people criticize him for his weeping too much and crying too much about Layla, and he was just shedding too many tears on her, too much weeping.
Okay.
So he said, يقولون كم تجري مدامع عينه لها الدهر دمع واقف يتحدر وليس الذي يجري من العين ماؤها وليس الذي يجري من العين ماؤها ولكنها نفس تذوب فتقطر. So they asked him that he's weeping too much and his tears are not drying. His eyes never dries. It's always wet. He's always crying. He replied to them, وَلَيْسَ الَّذِي يَجْرِي مِنَ الْعَيْنِ مَاؤُهَا. What is running in my eyes, it's not water, or it's not the real tears. وَلَكِنَّهَا نَفْسٌ تَذُوبُ. It is a soul that is melting. It is my soul that is melting inside out of love of Layla.
Subhanallah.
وَلَكِنَّهَا نَفْسٌ تَذُوبُ فَتَقْطُرُ. And then it drips and flows. So it is my soul that is melting from inside.
Subhanallah.
So this is how much he loved Layla, and this was how much pain he was in.
Subhanallah. That's truly beautiful. Thank you so much, Sheikh Abdurrahman, for showing us the beauty of Arabic poetry and sharing these beautiful lines with us. I really enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you did as well. If you did, let us know. Send us out a tweet. Let us know on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. And inshallah, we will see you in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.